ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the delay, but we did have to have something discussed. So I'd like to call this meeting to order, and we'll start off with roll call.
Kapolei, Colin, Dudley, Healy, here. Ligao, Shadell, Souza, Sprague, here. And Wand. Okay.
Just for your own edification, Dr. Dudley is not here. His wife took ill and she's been rushed to the emergency, so we keep her in prayer. Kanani Wan is en route. I think she got caught up in some of the traffic. And I have not heard from Member Cullen, so I'm sure he'll be here. All right. This is the part where I remind everybody to be orderly and to have an air of decorum, and we'll keep the subject matter spoken to and not veer from. It would be nice if everybody that had something to hand out would hand them out now rather than waiting for your turn so that we can get the show on the road, so to speak. First person up would be the Honolulu Fire Department. Motion so readily, and I'll let it go at that. All right, next on the agenda would be for discussion and action concerning board support or non-support of bill. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not where we are. Discussion. Do you have something to say, Mr. Galoya Jr.? Would you want to come up here and address the board? Try that again. Thank you. Thank you. It's so noted. Next time, I'll have you removed. Discussion and action regarding board acceptance of park closure hours that were currently posted. Everybody understand? May I hear a motion to accept the signage at the Kahivelo Community Park? Is that what it's called?
Kahivelo Neighborhood Park.
Kahivelo Neighborhood Park.
So move.
And a second? All right, may I see a show of hands for those that are in favor?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Point of order, I think the community should be given an opportunity to opine on this.
Okay, is anybody in the community that would like to say a few words for or against? Yes. Seeing none, can I have a vote? Show of hands, please, for those that are in favor of the signage. With no opposition, unanimous, 9-0. You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here because Mr. Galoyo Jr. has not been to this neighborhood board for months. And then when he shows up, he starts. Go ahead, keep smiling, because I think that of provocation, yeah? And if you're going to be disruptive to this meeting, I would ask you kindly to either stop it or leave. Because the people here are here to do somebody's job, and maybe we don't do it the best way you think we do. But this is it. You don't like it, vote us out. But in the meantime, shut your trap. Okay? Put that down. So noted. It's in the minutes. Now, we're going to move on to the discussion and action concerning the transfer. I'm sorry we're doing that again. Let me tell you that the last item in regards to the Navy and Ordipan, Tom Clemens had called me. He won't be able to make it. He's coming with a full report from the Navy next month, and he asked to be excused. So we're going to go to discussion and action concerning the board's support or non-support of Bill 3 at the Honolulu City Council. I must tell the board members that we did have an opinion by OIP that we did not discuss this because it was too vague. Obviously, people in the audience don't know what Bill 3 is about, and it would be not in their interest not to have it spelled out. But for those of us that are on the board, I'm sure we do know what the content is. So before I throw this item out, I'd like discussion amongst ourselves as to what you feel we should do. I'll let the board opine, and you tell me how this chair would go ahead and deal with this matter.
Madam Chair, I know this is a very important topic of discussion, which is Bill 3, and we know what it is. But the OIP has given us an opinion that our agenda is very vague. And I think we're here to serve the public. And if they're not here, because they're not able to understand what we could be talking about, so I think we have failed in that responsibility to serve the public as such. So I would really ask that we postpone this. I'm ready to talk about it, actually, you know, and because I'm in support of Ho'opili, but I'm ready to talk about it. But because of the opinion of the OIP, which is against Sunshine Law, I would rather, if I didn't know about this, maybe we would have gone about it, but now that we have known, then I think it's my responsibility to follow their instruction. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Young. Member Healy?
Thank you, Chair Souza. You know, it's pretty clear to me, Bill 3 from City Council can be nothing else. If it just said Bill 3, and we didn't know if it was from the legislature or the City Council, then it would be confusing. So, you know, I don't know how much detail they want in here, but Bill 3 from City Council is Bill 3 from City Council. And, you know, people can get the details if they want. I wonder if it's not an underhanded way to delay us discussing this in front of the community so that we put off our action, you know, while the City Council keeps pushing forward with this. So, you know, I'll leave it up to the board, what everybody wants to do, but I don't see this as being vague in any way.
Thank you. Member Wong?
I'd just like to say that I think I haven't been doing this for a while, but when I look at the agenda, sometimes it makes sense to me, and sometimes I know as a leader that I can look into things on my own and also look to the fellow leaders of my community. And as far as you put this agenda together, as far as our president putting this together, she knows her stuff. And I think that for her to put Bill 3 and to write it in the way that it was, it's not questionable in the fact that she knows about it so much, in that it's the wordage, it's the verbiage. And what is more important than verbiage? The content behind the verbiage. And so we need to look past the verbiage and our ways that we do things as individuals and look towards the content. Whether or not we are well versed in what we're seeing in front of our eyes or not, that's the most important part, is the content. So I ask you folks, and I ask the board, is this worth putting off for one more meeting because of the verbiage? Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Member Kapolei?
President, is there any way you can adjust the mic so hurting anyone in their ears? This is my response to the Neighborhood Commission and OIP. I said, I also agree with Dr. Keone Dudley on this issue. Besides, how do we know that the calls to the NCO were not financially driven by special interest who are only looking for an excuse to keep the community and the board silent on this topic, which is the exact opposite. The exact opposite of transparency is censorship. I spoke to another board member from another board. She mentions they have listed Bill XX as an agenda item without a description on the bill in the past, and had never been a problem before. If that is accurate, then I don't understand why this neighborhood board is being singled out for special treatment, censorship. The NCO has advised, which means I think our board retains the decision to go forward and deal with the consequences of this later. They keep telling us that our board is an advisory one, and our elected officials keep ignoring what we advise anyway. So this would be no different. We were elected to do the business of the community, and if somebody wants to file a complaint about this, I think we have a right to know who's complaining and face our accusers and determine if they have a financial interest in keeping this elected community board silent on this issue. I will defer our action on this measure to the most senior 2 members on our board on how to proceed forward, but this is my opinion on the matter. The NCO should withdraw the complaint to allow this to go through and be discussed, and come out with clear guidance on the agenda format requirements to all neighborhood boards so that our board isn't being singled out for special treatment and censorship. And I'd just like to comment that the Neighborhood Commission and OIP did not respond to my email. So, thank you.
Anybody else? Member Sprague?
I share the same feelings as Member Capolei and Member Wand and Member Healy, that we seem to be okay here, and that this is an important issue for the community, and it's something we should discuss here tonight with everybody.
Anybody else? Then I'm going to leave it to the board. I'm going to ask for a vote.
Madam Chair, before you vote, you have to let the public speak.
Oh, I'm talking to my board.
If you're talking to the community as well.
I'm telling you to hold on.
You cannot vote until I get a chance to speak.
Fine.
And actually, you can't even vote on that because it's not on the agenda.
Fine. Action means we vote.
No,
so
actually. Okay, thank you for recognizing me. Michael Galoyu, 35-member community member. I'm the one that called the NCO. I am the one that filed the complaint with the agenda. I'm the one. I did this because the OIP is very clear on this, and I have their thing, which you've talked about, but you haven't actually read. So I'm going to actually do that now for you. To Brian Mick, would you advise that a member of the public should be able to understand from reading the agenda what topics will be discussed without necessarily having to do research or consult external materials? So I think there's a good argument that listening to
Is there anybody on the board that wants to say anything? Anybody? No. All right, now we'll have somebody from the audience.
Okay. May I go?
Whatever.
Okay, great. Again, Michael Galoyu. I was called out by Dean Kapolei wanting to know who was the one that called the NCO. I'm the one that called. I haven't really paid attention.
Excuse me, wait, hold on. Mr. Kapolei did not call you out. He wanted to know who it was.
Yes, and that's calling me out. It's calling the person out, and I...
No, he wouldn't have called you out. Excuse me.
Me.
No,
You're not supposed to be
exactly,
arguing.
and you shouldn't be arguing with this.
You should not be interrupting
Recess.
me either.
The last time. Either we have a civil discussion without sarcasm. There you go. Somebody call 911. Please. I will have you removed. And you know what? We're going to delay this portion of the agenda, and we're going to move on to community announcements. So is there anybody in the community that has a concern or an announcement? Step up, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Madam Chair, board members. Good to see you again. I was here last year. Steve Foster.
If you have anything that you want to have shredded for free, come here to the Kapolei High School between the hours of 9 and 12 noon. It'll be in the parking lot. Go ahead.
Oh, I thank you. My concern is that an agenda would be put together without trying to be transparent as possible. Everybody talks about how long you've been on this board, Madam Chair, that you would do something that was so to hide what you were talking about, to make And OIP has been very clear on this before in the past with this board. So I'm concerned about that. And that's the reason I contacted the NCO office, because my community deserves better. We all deserve better. You are there to do the will of the people, not your will. So that's my concern. My concern is that when this board moves forward.
Thank you, Mr. Goloyu. We have that noted. You have a concern.
And I have an announcement, too. I would like to invite everybody to the Capitol on this Monday as we look towards the Supreme Court hearing this marriage equality cases on Tuesday. It's called Look Beyond Tomorrow, a rally for justice. So we'll be talking about Hawaiian rights, women's rights, housing, as well as equal pay for equal work, as well as a living wage. It's put on by the GLBT caucus of the Democratic Party of Hawaii and MoveOn.org. So I invite everybody out. It starts at 4:30 right after work. And we also be advocating for rail because we all know we need that after today. Thank you.
Anybody else wants to make an announcement? Well, seeing none, let's move on. All right. We were supposed to have a board presentation, but Dr. Schultz, the